Comics are all needy and neurotic. As a comedy manager, I get an all-access pass to the shit show that goes on offstage. Yeah, so we're waiting for Vlad Camargo. We've got 3 shows with him this weekend. Tonight at the Rec Room in Calgary. We've got Red Deer tomorrow and Lethbridge on Friday. Cutting it close, man. We're supposed to be on air at 12:20 and he's going to be here at about 10 after 12, barring no problems, so knock on wood. But just waiting around. It's stressful enough as it is, man. Stressful. Keep waiting. I got to learn to calm the stress down. Otherwise, I'm going to get a heart attack by the time I'm 50. Yeah, this weekend is really the first experiment, litmus test-wise, of bringing up American talent as a headliner. And, the idea is that we Trojan horse our talent through these headliners. So Vlad's coming up, and he's doing these 3 shows. We've got Brett Forte opening, and we've got Adam Ruby hosting, featuring. So I hope it's as much as a learning opportunity as it is an opportunity to open for a bigger name. Just waiting now, though, man. Waiting now. Hopefully 5 more minutes. Story of my life. Heart attack, man. Why? Dude, they're gonna be on air in like 2 minutes. 2 minutes? I thought it was at 12:40. No. They're going earlier? He's on his way out. Okay. Producer's on his way out. Essentially, I work as the middleman. So really what my job is to work with comics or talent on a day-to-day basis, handle every negotiation process, every type of opportunity that comes to them. Whether you're doing a theater with 1,500 people or you're doing an open mic in your mama's basement, I want to know about it and I want to be involved in it. It's my job to keep them going and to light a fire under some asses and to make sure that people are constantly promoting themselves and branding themselves. So, with a roster of talent, I got to really be selective about who I work with and who I want to venture down that road with, because it's not an easy road. I'm always on the lookout for brand new talent. I'm always looking, who catches my eye. Brittany Lyseng is somebody that I've had my eye on for a while. Over the last couple of years, she's had some really good success. She's worked really hard at her writing. She's very diligent in the way that she handles her shows and her booking. She's very professional. And what I like about Brittany is that she's upfront and she's honest with you. She won't bullshit you. We've been talking lately, and I would love to see, her coming under our banner and talk about, opportunities down the road. I think the sky is the limit for her.
You want to know what happens when you're not good looking and you fall in a bar? Nothing. No one gives a shit.
You're not working full time anymore. Like your other job, it's comedy full time.
It's comedy full time, yeah.
How's that been?
Are you asking me going from being a 12-year journeyman with a pensionable wage to not knowing what happens tomorrow? Yeah. It's a roller coaster of emotion. Yeah.
As you know, I work with all the top clubs in the States and promoters and venues and stuff down there. We got great relationships with like the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and all these different places. So if you feel like, you ever need help with the marketing end of things, if you want to get, some push on the branding and stuff like that, I know, like I said, you're tied up with representation right now.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
if that ever comes to a point of where you say, hey, and I'm not trying to poach or anything like that, you know what I mean? It's just like saying, hey, I think there's opportunities beyond the borders that I think that you could do really, really well with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the representation for right now is there, and I appreciate the interest. But it's further down the line, and that might be. You never know. You never know.
You never know.
There's not a day that passes by that I don't think, what the fuck have I done? Because really what you're doing is you've told people that you're so funny that they should pay you. And the fact that it works is beyond me. And anybody that ever taught me in any class would just be so upset to know that I've made a living doing the thing everybody told me not to do all the time. My brother just had a baby. That's a good segue, huh? My brother just had a baby. He's a great dad, man, but he's worried. He told me that. He's like, I'm worried I'm not going to be a good dad. I'm like, why? You're a great brother, You were always like a second dad to me. I think you'll be a great father. And he's like, no, man, I'm worried. What if the baby doesn't like the same things I like? And it dawns on my brother, and he writes me back. He goes, what if he's gay? And I get mad right away because I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, And I start texting him a whole big thing, like, what does that even mean? Why would it matter? And before I can send it to him, he sends me back the most beautiful thing I've ever read in my life. He was like, because if he's gay, I just want to be a good dad. And I want to be able to answer all of his questions. What if I can't answer his questions? And I was like, that's beautiful, But then in my head, I was like, what kind of questions you think he's going to have that you're not going to be able to answer? And then he writes me back in all caps, and he's like, I don't know, man. What if he needs to know how to suck a dick? And I was like, just so you know, me and Mom never had that conversation.
It's hard to be a comic and give your career into someone else's hands, and I get it. It's a tough place to be, but I've got some great comics on my roster. I've got some really talented people, some of the most talented people in all of Canada. Trent Mcclellan is, I would say, my marquee blue chip client. He's the top of the game in Canada. I don't think you could really break through any higher. Inspirational story, great backstory, which always makes for great press and great interviews. Very camera friendly, very professional. He's had a breakout year. This is his second year. He just wrapped on This Hour Has 22 Minutes. He spent some time writing for them. He's going through some personal things right now that I'm there for, and I think it's going to be a good thing for him. We're looking at all new exciting markets next year as well. So we just are putting the finishing touches on his application to renew his green card down in the States, so he can go back down there and work. But what I like about Trent is that he's got hustle, and he's got a lot of moxie, and he's fucking funny, and he's a great dude to be around. His energy is very infectious.
I shipped in a night sky for you guys. Unbelievable. Look at this place. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? It's like a concert hall fucked a log cabin. That's what it looks like. You just struggle. Like, that's life in Canadian comedy and entertainment. You just struggle and go from shit gig to shit gig. And eventually things get a little bit better, but you just grind and grind and grind and grind, do horrible paying gigs in horrible venues, and it slowly gets better, hopefully, as you get better. And eventually you start headlining, making a bit more money, you can pay your bills a little bit. And I don't know, I tell comics all the time, it's like, you have to do it because you love it, because it's just, there's so much shit to deal with. You have to love the just small process of creating material and telling jokes. And if you love that stuff, then you'll be fine. I was like the class clown in school, like when I was younger. You grow up as a black guy in Newfoundland, it's like, I'm the only guy. So I was the center of attention regardless of whether I wanted to be or not. Like, you walk into a room, heads turn, like, So I think I used humor to kind of take power back into situations, to be like, well, if you're gonna look at me, then you're gonna look at me for the right reasons, because I'm entertaining you or making you laugh. Went to amateur night, got my name pulled, most terrified I've ever been in my life. I mean, when you're standing in the wings in the dark and the host is going, this next guy, it's his first time ever on stage. I mean, your knees are literally quivering. I'm like, are my legs gonna actually move me to the stage? Like, just like energy left my body. Then I get out there, and the first joke I did, I can't remember what it was, but it got a laugh, and I felt like this energy, like strength, and the adrenaline of all these strangers who don't know you laughing. And it was like a drug. It was like, I want this all the time. And everything in my life, it sounds cliche, but everything in my life made sense in that moment. Oh, this is the thing I'm supposed to be doing. I tell so many people, talent's not enough. I mean, you gotta have a level of perseverance that you didn't even know you had, There's so many talented people out there in every different walk of life, but it's like, how many shots can you take? How many times can you get kicked in the guts and get up again? And it's about just continuing to move your feet all the time. I had the hundreds of auditions that I went to and I didn't get the role. I thought it went well and I'm waiting for the phone to ring and it's like nothing, you know? Or shows that you went to and the crowd wasn't great and you felt off and you drove 9 hours in a snowstorm to get there. And you know, it's all those things, but at the end of the day, you have to do it because you love it, and you do it that way. You'll continue to put the work in because you know you love what you do and you know you're meant to do this. I did housewarmings, hiding in bathrooms, coming out like, ta-da, everybody ready to laugh? Like just in your sock feet in the middle of a living room doing stand-up. A bunch of people didn't know you were showing up. They have no idea who you were. Like, why did that black guy just come into the bathroom and what's he doing here? Like, did he break in? I don't understand what's happening. So you do all these things, but it's all the story and the experience, and it gets you ready for that bigger thing that's coming down the road. So now you're grateful for all of it. At the time, it's pretty painful, but you realize it was all preparing you for something that was coming much further down the road. So it's a grind, but you have to embrace it. As a Newfoundlander traveling around the country, I feel like I got to kind of be a bit of an ambassador for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, you know what I mean? Because people have stereotypes about us, right? They're like, you know, people go, oh, you're a Newfie, hey, Larry, Thunder and Jesus, I'm a 6'3", 220-pound black man. Do I look like a fucking leprechaun to you?
I'm fortunate enough to be able to travel the country. I work with all the top clubs all over the world, and I'm able to go out and seek new talent. Brett Forte. What can I say about Brett? I found Brett on an amateur show. From day one, he was busting my balls right from the get-go, right? There was something in Brett that I saw very early on, just the confidence that he had on stage, the way that he presented himself, the timing of the jokes. And I approached him, I think at that point, I just said, hey, like, we're working together. I don't even think I gave him a fucking option. I just said, hey, we're working together, man, because, you know, I see something. So he's tasted success very early on in his career. He's gotten to open for Chris D'Elia, Bobby Lee. He went down to LA. He got to perform at the Comedy Store on Canada Day. You know, he got in really early with Rick Bronson up at the comic strip. He's open for, you know, a ton of comics. Let me tell you the problem with Brett, though, okay? The problem with Brett is that he doesn't always know when to turn it off from on stage to off stage. So he comes off like an asshole to a lot of people. A lot of people don't like working with him. He's not afraid to ask for what he's owed. He's not afraid to get in people's faces. But sometimes you just got to teach him to rein it in a little bit, you know? He's, I think out of my entire roster, Brett has, from the beginning, shown the most improvement and the most drastic climb to success. That kid's gonna go somewhere. He's gonna make it onto something. There's no doubt in my mind Brett's gonna become successful in this business.
This is a Tinder story. We've heard these before, but this one, it's got out of hand. Okay, so we meet at the bar. She wants to meet at the bar. I get there. She goes, hey, I'll introduce you to all my friends. This is how she introduces me to the table. She goes, hey guys, this is Brett from Tinder. Before I even sit down, she goes, you know what, it's weird. Of all the guys I've met on Tinder, none of them have tried to fuck me yet. And I said, well, you know the streak is coming to an end tonight, right? So, I've been a comedian for 4 years now, 2 of which have been full-time, just comedy. And that's not my choice. I won Funniest Person with a Day Job, was the name of the contest in Edmonton. And 12 hours after winning that, I lost my day job. I was fired from a radio station that was not into my content whatsoever. Listeners would complain all the time, and I was always reprimanded, not rewarded. But then it thrust me full-time into something where I am rewarded for that very same content. We got a big show tonight, opening for Vladimir Camaño, so we got to get revved up. I like a little coffee pre-show, but I don't pay for coffee. Unlike my millennial counterparts, I can back a vehicle up, no problem, first try, okay? There's nothing more manly than that right there. So this is not my coffee shop. This is for suckers. So next door, coffees are $4, $5, $6. Here, I'm gonna deposit money into a high interest e-savings account. The bank is gonna pay me to drink their coffee. You get to walk by Starbucks with your head held high. It's not a joke. This saving money lifestyle is exactly that. It's not a joke, it's a lifestyle. You gotta be frugal. You gotta have little tricks up your sleeve, be smart. And well, this is one of the things that I do right here. This is a vending machine at the mall. You can win prizes. Okay, you set how much the machine has to take in before you cash anything out, okay? So I got it rigged from the beginning. I come in here, I come to the mall to make money. Others come to spend, I come for some walking around money. I'll even come here and hype the machine up. I'll put a couple of my own fives in it just to get people buzzing, get people talking about it, you know? And then I sit back and watch as they put their money in my machine, and I'm collecting my money anyways after. So it's a nice little moneymaker. I think it takes in about $1,000 a month is what I make off of it. So that's like a part-time job, on average. How come every woman I meet with a septum piercing turns out to be a vegan? So it's just a little funny to me, because it's like, oh, you won't eat the cow, but you'll dress up like one.
Everyone's got a vision, right? Everyone's got to be like, yo, this is where I want to go with things. And for me, it was like, let's slowly build. Let's slowly build. And if our Canadian comics are not getting the recognition or the exposure, then we got to piggyback on the ones that do get it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, if we can put you guys in a position to open for some of these comics.
Yeah,
and
that's
I mean,
a big opportunity,
and
man.
people could turn around and be like, yo, Vlad's not a household name.
Yeah.
No, he's not a household name, but he's got great credits. He's been around the country. He's a guy whose phone is ringing. You know, it's not him begging for fucking work.
That's right.
You know, his phone is ringing. He's getting bookings. So it's like, hey, you start off and you open for, a local headliner. And then you go and you open up for maybe a touring headliner. And then maybe you go and you open up for an international headliner. And it's the same thing with promoting.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? I start off with local comics. You just keep, same
working up
same
slowly.
thing for me, right? I've spent my entire career just promoting Canadian comics.
Yeah, dude.
So this is really my first step into the U.S. to bring, a U.S. comic up here. If you got the drive, you got the hustle, I'll fucking match it.
It's the first time, I think, in all the shows that I've ever done that I brought an American headliner up and give our guys a good chance to open and start building a following here as well. Brett is, honestly one of the biggest up-and-comers in Canada. Same exact thing with Adam. Bringing him out to open the show and get eyes on him is like what it's all about. So the more that I can Trojan horse these guys and bring them out, the better for me, the better for them, and I think it's going to be the better for the landscape of comedy within Canada.
You guys ready for your headliner tonight? All 12 of you? All right. This next guy, you're gonna love him, man. He was on Jimmy Kimmel from New York, guys. Guys, put your hands together for Vlad Kamano.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. They're recording this. Like, let's record the comedy show in an empty room. Let's make sure we document that for the fans. So thank you guys for inviting yourselves and no one else. I really thank you for coming out. It's my fault though. I should have been on more TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, it's 100% my fault. I didn't audition for anything. Nobody? The least you could do is talk to me. I know there's only 8 of us. The least you could do is talk to me. At least talk to me. Like, you know what I mean? Shit, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to get this crowd rolling, boy. I'll do whatever it takes.
I don't know, I saw you warming up, doing some stretching and doing some pacing before the show. Would it be safe to say you were a little nervous for this one?
Yeah, there's a few things that weren't ideal.
Because when you look out and when it's 12 people, okay?
And there's a huge apron.
Right, and the first 3 rows aren't full. You can't even see the people you can try to do crowd work with, even if they're there. That makes you way more nervous than playing 400, 500 people. Because if only 10% of the audience is laughing in a 500-person room, that is 50 people still laughing. The sound of 50 people laughing is great.
It's nice.
If 10% of the people are laughing there tonight, that's one lady.
One friggin' lady.
And that's the saddest sound in the world.
When we get into the car at the end of the night tonight, Jake's gonna go, well, boys, like, we ate some shit tonight or whatever, but again, he's gonna go back to his mission statement, he's gonna get the troops amped, and that's why we keep coming back and and keep doing shows, because we know that there's that energy, that drive. He's definitely motivated in that way, and this isn't something that stops him at all.
You got that check? I want my money, motherfucker! I'm kidding.
You always want to go big. You always want to go bigger. And part of that process is taking a big risk. One of the partnerships that we've been able to make some inroads with is a very large promoter down in the States who's really interested in developing some of the B and C markets in Canada. And some of the names that we're tossing around are, people like Ricky Gervais and John Cleese and Gabriel Iglesias and all these A-list performers. But with that, like I said, it comes with a lot of risk. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is for us to promote massive entertainers, whether they're Canadian, whether they're American. I don't fucking care if you're red, green, a woman, a man. All I care about is if you're fun.